hip hop, hip hop,
Yeah,
hip hop, hip
bars is back.
hip hop,
Santa
hip
Ant,
hop,
oh
hip
God,
hop,
what's
hip
up with you?
hop.
I done watched them niggas do interview after interview. They not culture vultures, the culture something they been into. So if you never gave them a view, I recommend you do. Cause when they question guests, they message is not subliminal.
We don't own the social media. We don't own all of the media outlets at that time. Even now, some of us don't. We own a little piece, but the ones that's the puppeteer is the one that's in the back pulling the strings, and they put us in the front, and they pin us against each other, and then we destroy each other, and then we're looking at it and we trying to figure out what went wrong. And that is pretty much what happened with Tupac and Big. And I think that after that, if you study it carefully, it has never been any kind of beef between the East and the West Coast that equaled that, because that death was so tragic and so unnecessary that I think the whole hip hop community feels it still to this day.
Facts.
Absolutely. You brought up Farrakhan, and you also brought up earlier in the conversation that you studied his Hebrew Israelites now. And in the media, as of late, especially in 2020, we've seen some of our black actors, black athletes come out in opposition against the Jewish community, stating literature that may argue the fact that they aren't the original child of Israel, that there are another species of people that are the child of Israel, children of Israel, excuse me. And they got the proverbial whip slapped on their back and was told to be quiet and told to apologize. What do you think about that? Without getting too deep, or get as deep as you want, about one, Nick Cannon, Deshaun Jackson, to name a few, coming out and stating literature pro Hebrew Israelite and the backlash they received from it?
Well, I think that it's funny too. It's a beautiful question, and it definitely doesn't strike any fear in me, because I'm gonna tell the truth, you know. And the truth of the matter is this: is that I think it's never what you do, is how you do it, and it's the spirit that it comes from. You know, I have friends who are from the Jewish community who I love and appreciate and respect, and I have friends from the Hebrew Israelite community who I love and respect. And I know that in all groups of people, the one common denominator that supersedes all of these things is the mind. So the mind of the individual, that individual can either be a person with a good mind or a bad mind. Let me give you an example. When you look at the situation with George Floyd and you see the cop holding him down on the ground like that, that cop, we believe, supposed to uphold the law. But that cop, in my opinion, has something wrong with his mind. Because for him to see that this man could not breathe, it does not matter if the person was white or black. If it was a white man on the floor and he did that, I would still look at it and say there's something wrong with that man's mind.
Right.
So I think what happens and what we get caught up in is that I think that we're getting caught up in a conversation, to me, that's insignificant. The conversation is insignificant because above all religion, above all groups, the one common denominator in all people is the mind. So is the mind right of that person, or is the mind wrong? Now, I think that the key is, one of our biggest problems that we're having is that I think that there is something wrong with our minds. Anytime you see a black man come in the hood and take a gun out and shoot things up with children around, there's something wrong with his mind. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
And when I look at the officer that did what he did to George Floyd, you could tell that there's something wrong with that man's mind. They're telling him, he had people in front of him saying, yo, look at what's going on. And he just stood there like this, numb. as if he had no sense of what was going on. So to me, I feel like what's happening is that we're getting caught up in the groups of what tribe is this and what group is this and all of these different things. But the big picture is what's going on with the person's mind. So you could be a Jewish person and your mind ain't right. You could be a black person and your mind ain't right. And I
Right.
also feel that when you talk about different groups of people, you should be respectful to that group of people because that group of people deserve the respect the same way. If you brought me home to your mother and father, and I know that they don't like profanity in the house, and I'm running around and I'm just cursing up a storm, that's disrespectful to your mother and father because that's not the way they handle themselves. Now you could come to my house and my mother and father may not even care about that. So you could talk that way over there because they're okay with it. And I think that when you're talking about groups of people, and that means us as well, we all have to be mindful of the sensitivity of the country, the sensitivity of the world, and how each person plays a role in this world that we live in. This world is not all us or all them. We have to work together to make this thing happen. But if the person, no matter what color they are, if they're in the wrong state of mind, it don't matter what color it is. You're going to still get the wrong result. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that guy that's shooting things up in the hood, and I heard about it on the 4th of July when 5 to 6 to 7 kids got murdered in the hood. Okay? That didn't make me feel good. And every time I see on the news some officer stop a brother or sister in the car and deal with them in such a disrespectful fashion, yo, it's something wrong with these people's mind. So I'm just sharing with you my perspective on it because I'm looking at it from a much deeper perspective because this planet don't rock with just one race of people. It's a collective effort that makes this planet work.
Mhm.
And you understand where I'm coming from? I hope I'm answering your question.
You are, yes,
And,
sir.
and the last thing I'll say so that you know, Nick is my brother, and I love Nick, and I think he should have the right to express his point of views, and basically he should have the right to decide whether he wants to apologize or not, because I don't know how he truly feels about, what he said or the people that he feel he might have offended or didn't offend or why he did it. But I do feel like when you say something, you have to be willing to deal with everything that come with it. And one of the things that I've learned throughout my life that I apply to this day, truth out of season can be destructive. So the timing of truth is more important than the truth. So when you say something, the timing of when you say it is very important because depending on the temperature of the world, you got to be very thoughtful about how you affect people. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Yep. Deep.
Yeah, we definitely appreciating every minute of this, man. The legendary Dougie Fresh
Man, oh man.
is in the
Hey
building.
man, hey, look, I didn't know y'all was swinging. Y'all came out like Tyson.
Hey,
I
we don't.
said,
Hey,
"Dang."
that's
Hey,
why they call us
hey,
what they
hey,
call us, man.
hey, look, y'all came out like ding ding, and it was like no games, no games, which I appreciate, because I'm only gonna be honest with you. I don't talk out of both sides of my face. I deal with one conversation, and everything that I'm saying is based on truth. And I know my truth will not always be the same as everybody else's truth. But my truth is coming from a space of love and respect. And I'm saying this, and I don't care how a person can take it, but I have met so many people in my life from one part of this planet to the other. And I don't care what race they are. I met some beautiful people. And I also met some people who got something wrong with their mind. And
Yeah.
that's the one common denominator that I've seen in all of the groups. Like I've seen, no matter what the group was, there was always somebody in that group that was diabolical or coming with some kind of selfish action that wasn't for the greatest good of everybody. And my goal is always to affect everyone from the greatest good. And I may not always agree with the approach that other people take, but at the same time, as long as it's in the right spirit, I can give them a pass. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Appreciate that.